Hey, not a lot going on around here lately. Let's just see what's behind this door. No, is there a better door around here maybe?
So secure in your decision to have children, to be a parent, to bring life into this world, then why?
I'm a mom. I always planned on being a mom. I never could fathom not having children. And I learned so much from the child free by choice people. Because what y'all are effectively doing is pointing out the fact that you have given intentional thought behind procreation. Whereas a lot of people don't realize until after they've had kids that they never really considered the choice to not. And I don't mean that from the standpoint of regretting their children. I mean, they went into parenthood ill-equipped, ill-prepared, and pretty recklessly, honestly. Then along comes a child-free by choice person, listing out all the reasons you've decided to not have children. And the parents realize we never created our list for why we want to.
Okay, so I have to be real with you. I'm child-free, and I think all of us child-free people tend to talk about all the perks of being a child-free person. And a lot of people tend to focus on things like, oh, having a lot of extra money is definitely true, but also like traveling everywhere. And I just gotta be really honest, I definitely do travel, but I'm not like jet setting all the time and like going to Europe and all these amazing trips. Definitely want to, but a lot of times my Saturday just kind of looks like this. I'm kind of doing a reset for the weekend. I have a gin and tonic or two, or a French 75, whatever. Anyways, I just chill at my house. A big part of being child-free for us was trying to get a house and saving up and just having the lifestyle that we want, which is really in general just being comfortable. And for me, that's really all it comes down to. I just want to be as comfortable as possible. Yes, I like kids, but I don't want to wake up early. I want to go to bed late if I want to. I want to sleep in. I want to watch the shows I want to watch. I want to have my house clean if I want it, or messy if I feel lazy. And no one's bothering me. And I'm just here with my cats and I'm chilling and I'm wearing my champagne pajamas and a fuzzy robe I just bought. Like, it's really less about like going and having an extravagant life. Some people have that and I love that for you, but I just want a simple life, an uncomplicated life. And this was really that decision for me that was like, you know, I can't control everything, but there's a few things I can control, and if I control not having kids, my life is just that much more simple and stress-free. And that's what I wanted to share today. Happy Friday. It's pretty late, so whoever sees this, you're a night owl as well. I hope you're having a great night. Tell me what you're doing this weekend. Cheers.
I was chatting with a guy at work today and he asked me if I had any kids, to which I responded with, oh no, I'm not gonna have children. And he kind of laughs and he's like, oh, you say that now, but never say never. To which I responded with, no, I know for a fact that I'm never going to have children. He got a little curious at that part and was like, oh, you know this? To which I then responded with, yeah, I've known since I was a child that I don't want to have kids, and I'm 35 years old now, and that hasn't changed, and I really don't see that changing in the future, so yeah, I can confidently say I don't want kids and I'm never going to have them. And even after that, he still replies with, well, you never know. And it's just such a common theme anytime somebody is choosing to be child-free. There are always people, usually parents, who are like, oh, you'll regret that one day, like they know the person better than the person knows themselves. Do you not think we know ourselves? Do you not think we understand this decision and have thought about this decision and have our reasons as to why we don't want to be a parent or bring a child into this world? I don't know, it's funny to me. Just that I know myself, all right? I'm not meant to be a parent, fuck.
I believe that everybody needs a baby because they just look at you like you are the—
Well, that's one way to get views on TikTok. Now, if I might get in my feelings for just a moment. As someone who was given all kinds of hell, including but not limited to being told I was selfish for not wanting to have children, makes me feel some kind of way that this heifer would come out her mouth saying that everyone needs to have children for the most selfish reason ever. Just to boost their ego. Just to have something look at them like they're important. Honey, it's called therapy, because that baby's gonna grow up one day and be a human who has their own thoughts and feelings that may not involve giving two shits about you. I already knew that some people didn't need to have kids, but some people didn't even need to have pets, just therapy and maybe a plant.
Here are 5 reasons that my husband and I decided not to have children. We are not against parents, by the way. Like, I truly believe you can have a fulfilled wealthy, wholesome life. Like, you can have everything and have kids. We're not saying that. I look at my friends with kids and I'm like, you know, you're doing an incredible job. It's just not for us for the following reasons. Firstly, it is so expensive. Honestly, like, it's hard enough to afford normal life. How do you afford kids as well? Secondly, I have just never really been a kid person. I'm that awkward person that just doesn't know what to do with them. Like, I really dread people handing me their kids. I've never wanted them. I've never really had anything to do with them. My husband, on the other hand, he is the eldest of 4. He's got 3 other siblings, and he had to basically take care of them when they were younger. And because of that, he's like, I already did my time. I don't want to do it with my own children. Third reason is because I have a business and we're both very ambitious. And again, you can be ambitious and have kids. I'm not saying you can't. But my business is my baby. It takes up so much time, energy, stress. I just couldn't do that and have a kid. The fourth reason is I'm selfish. I am happy to admit that, but I would rather say I'm selfish and choose to not have kids because of it than have them and then still want to be selfish, you know? I want to take a nap whenever I want. I want to go out for dinner when I want and not have to worry. There is a bit of wax. There it is, got it. You know, and not have to organize a babysitter. My husband and I are both very much on the same page as that, and I'll openly admit I'm selfish. And the fifth reason, I just really like my peace and quiet. I am such an introverted homebody, and I just love literally sitting at home in the quiet, and kids aren't quiet. They're not. I'm really sorry, they're just not. Also, just going to throw in a sixth reason, because everyone in my TikTok comments is telling me I'm going to change my mind. Watch me not do it. I'm not going to do it purely because you said that to spite you. No, I'm just joking. But in saying that, like, please be mindful that it's a very personal choice, and each to their own, you know. Whatever everyone decides for their life, that's up to them. There's no reason to get frustrated with it or annoyed because you disagree. Just let people live their life, you know. Finishing up with a little reminder to, I hate when this is nearly empty. Why? Be kind, spread kindness in the world, be open-minded, be understanding, and go out there and have a fabulous day. Also, I don't know how I just did my eyebrows while talking because I was very close to ripping a chunk out. I probably should not have done that, and I probably will not do that again, but whatever, we're here.
Please tell me what your life is like now.
So I'm not 40 yet. I'm about 18 months off, but I thought I might weigh in on this. I chose to be child-free, and so did my husband. That was something that was really quite a profound time in my life. I'd always thought that at some point that I would want to have kids, and it never really switched on. My husband wasn't really into it. He figured he'd married some woman who would want to have kids, and instead he got me. And we've both decided that no, we really love our life as it is. If anything, we regularly will look to each other and say, oh my God, how good is our life? We're both trained deep wreck divers. So we travel the world a bunch, scuba diving. We just bought our dream home in a suburb in Melbourne that is a significant upgrade from where I grew up and where he grew up and where we currently live. We've both had the opportunity to go to university and do 3 degrees each. So we're very fulfilled when it comes to being very educated. We've both got incredible careers. It's so fulfilling. Life is absolutely incredible. Now, don't get me wrong. I think there are trade-offs in everything. So I'll never feel what it's like to have a baby and be a mother. But I'm okay with that. I don't feel any massive desire for that. But in reverse, I get to live my life in a way that a lot of the people that I've grown up around who have chosen to have children will never get to experience. Most of them are really, really struggling financially and have been for a few years. Many of them, you know, being millennials, haven't even been able to buy a home and are renting and will probably forever rent. Life is stressful. It's really, really, really tough for many of them, and I don't envy them at all. I also know a whole bunch of people that are a bit older than I that have chosen not to have kids, and from what I can see, it only gets better and better. They've all actively chosen not to have children because it didn't resonate with them. So I would say that there are trade-offs. There's good and bad in everything. However, as someone who's chosen not to have children, I couldn't be happier with my choices, and I'm really, really excited about the future. Good luck.
Well, if you're unaware, there is a subreddit called Regretful Parents. I've thought about whether it's my place to go on that subreddit, but because people have this belief, I think it's really important to talk about the fact that regretful parents exist. So here's just some snippets from the sub. I didn't think I'd get PPD this bad. Even though my baby is only 10 months old, not a day goes by where I don't want to disappear or hurt myself. I'm in therapy and on medication, but I don't think I'll ever be myself again. I'm just an empty shell. Being called mama irritates the soul out of me. My child is 6, and I wish I understood that my PPD was a sign to adopt him out. Now it's too late for me. The bad feelings never went away. I can't do this. I wasn't cut out for this. I feel like I'm pouring all of myself into a bottomless pit that gives thanks by screaming furiously at me. I didn't want to keep him, but my partner's parents convinced me to. Any breaks I get from my son, I spend dreading when I'll have to take him back. If my kids were not my kids, I would cross the road to avoid them. I have nothing left to give. I can't stand my 14-year-old. I wish she was never born. I hate being her mom. I hate coming home every day to her. I don't know how to accept this is my life now without wishing every day I hadn't ruined it with a baby. I'm just alone with this terrible toddler, living paycheck to paycheck, wondering how I could have messed up my life so much. A year into motherhood, I go to bed every single night dreading the next day. Never in a million years would I have guessed I could be this unhappy. There hasn't been a single day in an entire year that I've enjoyed. I yearn for the life I used to have. I miss it so much it hurts. I don't even see glimpses of myself anymore. My anxiety runs my world. I've completely lost the old me. I wish I had known that every day would start with cortisol surging through my body before the sun rises. My nerves shot before breakfast time. The best part of my day is when my kids go to school. Right now I'm locked in the bathroom trying to recoup so I don't start yelling while my 5-year-old does the exact opposite of what I've asked them to do from the other side of the door. This life is relentless and I'm so fucking exhausted. This is from a post called For the Fence Sitters. You know that feeling you get at the tail end of winter when it feels like you haven't had the sun on your face for ages? It feels like it's been cold forever and every morning feels gray, and you look forward to spring when you won't have to put on your boots and coat to scrape the ice off your car while you freeze your ass off. Imagine trying to explain that feeling to someone who spent their whole life in the tropics. You can complain about the cold, but it's not really the cold. It's not the snow either. And having to put on boots in the morning or drive the car on icy roads, none of these things seem like a big deal in isolation. Even combined, they don't seem overwhelming to an outsider. Anybody can do winter for a while. It's really the bitter endlessness of it all. Waking up to it day after goddamn day. The petty frustrations that together are more than the sum of their parts. That's what being a parent has been like for me. Only instead of being able to look forward to spring, the only thing on the horizon is more winter. Decades of winter. I know that sounds melodramatic, but I swear it's the best analogy I can think of. It's bleak, and it can be harder still knowing that you chose this. You could be sitting in Mexico under the hot sun, salsa dancing and sipping margaritas, but instead, you picked 18 years of winter, possibly more. And that decision can seem very, very stupid when you're shoveling your driveway while sub-zero winds blow snow in your face. So yeah, there are parents who regret it.
There's parents out there who don't even like their kids.
Let's talk about it. I was at my goddaughter's sweet 16 party a few months ago. I was speaking with an elderly lady because she was like, oh, when are you having the next one, etc. And I was like, honestly, I've already made my masterpiece. There is no part 2. And she commended me because she was like, you know what? I should have had the same mentality as you. And she's like, not that I regret my children, but she has 5. She's like, not that I regret my children, but I should have stopped at 2. And I was like, wow, well, you know, that's really insightful of you and very honest. Thank you for sharing that with me. And she was like, I don't know which 2, but I had 5 children. It was too many children. And I didn't know what I was doing. I was too young. Everyone was just telling me, you know, have your kids. Kids are important. And she wasn't really thinking long term. She was just more thinking like, this is what she is supposed to do. Now, with that said, the person who I stitched this with, like, I understand there's some people who regret having their children and, you know, that's something that they have to figure out and work through. But also, I do think that things are changing where a lot of women who once felt obligated, like, this is what I'm supposed to do. This is what I'm here for. I'm supposed to procreate and make children, be fruitful. I think it's now changing where women are now feeling more empowered to be like, you know what, this is not for me. This is not the life I want. And I think there's tremendous courage because there's so many people out here like, you need to have kids, you need to, all of this. And at the end of the day, there's some people out here full on regretting having their children. I'm not trying to judge, but I just think that it's super insightful that some people are taking the time to really process and understand what it is to be a parent and bringing a person, because people think it's a baby, but bringing a real person, a living person into this world and everything that comes with. So yeah, shout out to you guys who choose not to have children, and shout out to those who do have children. And for those who regret having their children, I hope you find some type of peace and seek therapy to work through this.
Oh, hey, do you have a lot? No, just a couple more and it's all yours. Oh, great, thanks. I have a question for you. Sure, go ahead. We're not in the same department and I don't know you that well, so I was asking somebody about you and they said that you don't want to have kids? Holy out of nowhere, Batman. So is it true? Sure is. Well, my goodness, who's gonna take care of you when you're old? Have you thought about that? Oh, I mean, without kids. Let me ask you a question. What makes you think your kids are gonna like you enough to take care of you? Copier's free.
If you're that person where you and your partner are like, oh, I don't know if I want to have kids or not. Oh, like our lives are changed. I don't know if I want babies. Oh, I want to, but I'm scared. Don't fucking do it. Being child-free in your 30s and 40s is an absolutely unparalleled experience for me. I love it so much. And it's not the same as being child-free in your 20s. It's totally different. I've always been pressured by that time frame that women have to decide whether or not they want to have kids. For me, the issue was I don't want kids now. I'm 36 years old. I do not want children. But am I gonna regret it? Like, am I gonna be 80 and be like, oh, I wish I had kids? That's not a reason to have children. So fuck time frames. There is no time frame on your decision to be a parent. You can be a parent at 60, at 50, at 40, at 100. There's no time frame. Yeah, adoption's been canceled, I know. But there's other options. Doesn't have to be a child. Doesn't have to be a human. You know you better than anyone else. What do you want now? Be free. If you want a baby, go have one. If you can't have babies, I'm so sorry, you made it to the wrong place.
Yeah, I'm having kids now in my early 20s so I can really enjoy my 40s. Like, I will be home free in my 40s. I'll be able to do whatever I want. Well, I'm going to have my kids in my 30s so I can really enjoy my 20s. I really want to enjoy my 20s. So I'm going to wait, and I'm going to have kids in my 30s. Is having kids not enjoyable?
No. Haven't you been paying attention? Absolutely not. No. You do realize it's the mothers telling us that it's not enjoyable. We don't know because we don't have kids, so who else are we supposed to listen to?
Yesterday, I told my parents that I don't want to have kids. My mom was shocked. She gave me like the horrible, awful, upset face, the worst face she's ever made at me, and freaked out. And my dad just was like, no, you're having kids, as if it's up to him. And then this morning, my parents hurt my feelings. So I was crying alone in my room, because also I just be crying. Things just make me cry easily. I'm just an emotional person. So I was just crying for a little bit alone in my room. It wasn't a big deal. I was not in front of anyone. My dad comes into my room and sees me crying and gets mad at me and starts yelling at me that there's literally nothing wrong and that I need to stop acting like such a brat. And my mom's like, what happened? What's wrong? And my dad was like, nothing. So mad. He's like, she's just being difficult. And I tell him, bro, you can't just disregard my feelings like that. It's okay that I have emotions. I'm allowed to have emotions. I'm allowed to, feel something if you upset me. And he said, do you want to argue? Because we can argue, but I don't talk emotions. And I told him, well, you're a parent of 5 daughters. It comes with the territory. If you're a parent, you have to deal with your kids' emotions. That's just how it is. It's just funny because the people who want to force other people to have kids are usually terrible parents themselves, but they ain't ready for that conversation.
If you're child-free, I want you to just watch this video and react in the comments.
It seems that those who have kids early regret not being able to go wild in their early years, and those of us who wait until later, albeit are more stable financially, are then regretful because we tasted freedom and then we gave it all up. How's that feel?
Horrible.
I just saw a video of a woman who did not want kids initially. She got married to a man who does want kids, or so he claimed. But when the kid got here, Guess what happened? I'm pretty sure you can guess what happened. All of a sudden, he can't handle being a father. He can't handle taking care of a child. How convenient. Some of these men will say they want a child just to say they want a child, just because it sounds good. But they really don't have a clue how hard it is to take care of a child because they think it's going to be your job to do it. If you don't want children and your man wants children, I do not care how compatible you guys are. I don't care how well y'all get along. I don't care how much y'all love each other. It ain't gonna work. You cannot compromise on a child. You cannot compromise on a human being. You are gonna end up resenting that child. And you also gonna end up resenting that man because now you're stuck with both of them for at least 18 years.
So I never wanted to be a mom because I was like, that is too fucking hard. I can't do it. And then I accidentally became a mom and I was correct. This is too fucking hard.
By the way, did I ever tell y'all how much I appreciate women like that coming on the internet and telling us the cold, hard truth? Did I ever tell you? Well, I'm telling you now. I appreciate people who come on the internet and tell us the whole truth and nothing but the truth about parenthood. Because, bro, some of y'all be lying. Some of y'all be lying saying, oh, it's the best thing ever. It's so much fun. It'll fulfill you. You'll wonder how you lived your life without them before and blah, blah, blah. And we all know that's a lie. We know y'all are struggling. It's okay.
Somebody on Twitter was like, I'm not saying have children, but those of you in your mid-20s to mid-30s flexing about not having or wanting children will live a very lonely life once you hit your mid-40s. Can we stop with this bullshit? If you want kids, do it. If you don't want kids, don't do it. It literally should not matter to anybody else except for you and the partner you are going to have a kid with or not have a kid with. And also, if you're trying to have a child just so that you're not lonely in your mid-40s, okay, that is possibly one of the worst reasons to have a kid. And this dude was like, procreation is the only thing of value humans can do. Like, that is really telling if you think the only value you add is having sex. There were tons of comments who were like, oh, well, I'm in my mid-40s and I'm not lonely at all. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. And this person's like, oh, you're lying. Kids are not your accessories. They are not there to curb your loneliness. They are human beings and deserve to be treated as human beings. You hear about older parents who are now in retirement homes or like nursing homes, and nobody visits them, even though they have like 5 kids. Why do you think that is? I know a lot of us have been conditioned to believe that the ultimate dream is to get married, have 2 or 3 kids, you know, live in a very suburban neighborhood, I don't know, fucking with the white picket fence or whatever. But like, and like, if that's what you want to do, that's fine, go for it, you know, pop out those kids or have kids or whatever. But don't force other people to live by that standard if that's not what they want. I really don't understand why so many people are so nosy about other people having or not having kids. Like, even random strangers on the internet. Like, what does it matter to you personally? Like, really? Being a parent is cool. Being child-free is cool. They're just different choices, and we should just let people make the decision that is right for their life. That's it. That's the moral of the story.
Be nice. I'm finding it.
If I just pushed an entire human being out of my vagina and my husband so much as breathed a single thought about its condition after the fact, I would be on the 6 o'clock news.
You would absolutely not be on the 6 o'clock news because that would imply that you got caught and you were with your good friend Andre during that terrible incident when that burglar came in and beat your husband down. Now, I never want to have children, but in some alternate reality where I did want to have children, I could never even imagine coming to my partner after they pushed a whole human being out of their bodies and being like, things don't look how they used to. What the fuck? Another thing that I really want to know is, whose idea was it to make that first video at the beginning and to use that particular audio? Because it's looking like it was the man. And that is fucking disgusting, sir. Like, have several seats. Have divorce papers. Like, I don't like...